want to thank the chairman of the subcommittee and the ranking member for holding this hearing. I think it's timely and important. We had actually requested this over a month ago, and I'm glad we finally are here. We've also followed up with a bipartisan letter on a number of actions that I would like to bring to the attention of the State Department and follow up. I don't think we've gotten answers to those yet. Let me begin, first of all, though, and I concur with the earlier point that was made with Dr. Iabaldo, who's being held captive. I think we need to stay on top of that and obviously request his release. It's the humanitarian thing to do. But I want to also ask you, we're trying to deal with this supplemental package, we hope, after Thanksgiving, that would provide funding not only for Ukraine, which is critical, but also for Israel and the challenges in Gaza. And humanitarian aid is a part of that component, and I would hope that the State Department's looking, when we hopefully come together with that bipartisan package in December, that a segment of that bipartisan, that supplemental would provide humanitarian support for Armenia, given the over 100,000 refugees that they're dealing with and some of the other issues. Is that the intention of the State Department?
I can take a first stab at it. Thank you very much for the question, Representative Costa. What I can reiterate is that in our conversations with the government of Armenia, they continue to identify needs that they—
Yes, they have, and they've been providing members of Congress with those needs. I assume they've been providing you with those needs as well.
Yes, correct. And we're in conversations with them on trying to meet those within existing resources that we have. They are handling those to the extent that they can, but yes, I can confirm that they are asking for—
I mean, they've made a
additional
6-month
support.
commitment to these refugees for housing, for medical assistance, and for economic relocation. Let me move on. I've been listening to this conversation, and maybe I'm misinformed. I don't see the peace process as going nearly as well as some of the description I've just heard. The meeting in Granada, Spain, the last 2 meetings, Azerbaijan's refused to go. I don't know how you describe that as being positive. And Armenia, I know, is very concerned that the mediators would be Turkey and Russia. I mean, Russia did absolutely nothing but allow the Azerbaijan to do the ethnic cleansing. It was ethnic cleansing that happened with the removal of these Armenians from their historic homeland in Nagorno-Karabakh. I mean, to call it something else, these folks did not want to leave. And the quarter, I'm not convinced that they have access to go back to their homes. I'm hearing something entirely different. You care to comment?
Yeah, sorry.
Don't just let my time run out, please.
Don't let bells and whistles bother you either. We ignore them.
Apologize. So I think, look, you know this situation well.
Yes.
And I've talked about—
I represent a significant Armenian community, the land of William Saroyan.
And so what I'd say on the peace process is what I have said throughout. Is I think the parties are engaging with each other directly. They do occasionally use mediators. Sometimes they argue about which the mediators should be, but they're in direct bilateral contact, assisted by us, assisted by the Europeans.
Well, they certainly don't trust Turkey, and they shouldn't. And Russia's track record now, when you include Ukraine, it's not one that I would rely on.
I don't think they're relying on those people. I think this comes down to whether they can look each other in the eye and say yes. And so I wouldn't worry about sort of the different mediation efforts. I think this is fundamentally about whether the two leaders say, we want to be in partnership working on this together going forward. And we're doing what we can to make clear the benefits of that happening.
Well, my understanding is the Armenian leader is showing courage. He's in a tenuous situation. And we need to do everything we can to provide support. And the corridor that you talk about, I think from what I hear, the Armenians are concerned and feel threatened by that corridor and what it might imply for another grabbing of land by Azerbaijan once it's established, and what kind of role they would play, or any benefits that they could, or whether or not they could hold Azerbaijan to an agreement that they would benefit from that corridor that would be in portion on Armenian land.
But those are problems to be solved, Representative. Currently, that land is controlled by Russian peacekeepers. If we create an alternative that can be negotiated with Armenia, we're in a fundamentally different place. That's where the Prime Minister says he wants to be.
Yeah, well, my time's expired, Mr. Chairman, but I think that Russian peacekeepers is a bit of an oxymoron.
On that note, the